Welcome to the David Seaton Show. We are really excited today. I am joined by a Republican, a person who is trying to run for the Republican nomination for the soon-to-be vacated Senate seat of Dick Durbin. We are so pleased to be joined today by Dr. Pamela Denise Long. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you again.
Yes, we did an interview on,
Right.
on my show on WVON.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you were very well received.
I am really glad to hear that. You know, it doesn't matter what I think about my candidacy. What really matters is if the people resonate with me and if they feel I'm going to be a good representative for them. So that's good to hear.
Absolutely. So you're running for Dick Durbin's seat. Obviously, he is a Democrat. You're trying to get the Republican nomination. So let's start there. Well, why do you think you would be the best candidate to replace Dick Durbin?
Yeah, I think people are tired. I think people are tired of advocating for some type of control over immigration. We saw that citizens of Chicago, as well as around the country, but let's stick to Illinois, citizens of Chicago protested how illegal immigrants were getting benefits as well as access to facilities that both used to be allowed or set aside for citizens, but also facilities that citizens had asked for and the officials had denied them use of. I'm thinking particularly of South Chicago, where they'd asked for use of the high school facility that was sitting vacant, and suddenly the facility became available for illegal immigrants to be housed in. I'm thinking about the ways citizens' voices had been ignored. I'm thinking about the ordinance where citizens were pushing to use the home rule to make Chicago no longer a sanctuary city to stop the flow, the overflow of illegal immigrants, how that was sabotaged, including some officials, which people don't know, David, but some officials being threatened with being primaried if they actually spoke up and used their voice to advocate for their constituents. I think people are tired. I think Americans, Black Americans included, are ready to reclaim our nation and our stake in it.
Okay.
I think people are realizing, and Republicans are very good about this, that we have a nation state and it is up to the people in that nation state. However disgruntled they may be about failures of public policy, it's up to us to make sure that our nation works for us. Democrats, on the other hand, will stoke flames of disenchantment. The country ain't never done anything for you. I'm sure you've heard people say that to Black folks, right?
Yes.
What history has happened for Black Americans? Radical Republicans, right, were very instrumental in making sure that those 13th, 14th, 15th Reconstruction Amendments were set aside for the multi-generational Black Americans, as well as the bipartisan efforts for civil rights in the 1960s. So I think people are tired, ready to reclaim their nation, and that's what I'm here for.
That's an interesting data point because oftentimes people forget that the Democrats of that era were the ones who were trying to maintain slavery, if we're going to talk about that particular issue. And the Republican Party, Abraham Lincoln was the first presidential nominee of the then new Republican Party. And I think people forget that history, but we're gonna come back there. We're gonna go back there in a minute. Illinois has traditionally been a blue state. And I would agree with you. The trend line that I'm seeing is that more and more people are dissatisfied with the Democratic Party. Basically, and you know this, but basically people, for those of you who don't know, you get south of Kankakee, Illinois is all red or predominantly red because south of Kankakee, Illinois is a rural state. When people think of Illinois, they really think about Chicago. But again, Illinois, 80% of the geography of Illinois are red counties. Notwithstanding Urbana or Springfield, those college towns.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and you're from Southern Illinois.
Right, Edwardsville, which is a college town as well.
Exactly, SIU.
Yes, yeah.
Is it the Salukis?
No, the Salukis is the Carbondale campus.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on SIUE. They're gonna pull my card. I should know this. I'm drawing a blank on that one at the moment, but yes.
Yeah, I have some friends who went to SIU, so that's the only reason I knew that one.
And I taught there as an adjunct at the College of Education, so I'm really gonna be in trouble.
Okay, so before we get to a couple of those issues, because I want to talk about education.
Cougars. I have to say it. Okay.
So I want to talk about education. Since you're an educator, I want to talk about seniors. I want to talk about immigration a little bit more.
Okay.
But let's talk about the opportunity that you see for the Republicans to make inroads with the voters in Illinois. Because again, south of Kankakee, the Republicans have those counties, but the majority of the population in this state is concentrated in Chicago and the 5 collar counties. That's where you've got to make inroads to get Republican votes. Have you thought about a strategy to penetrate these heretofore Democratic bastions in the state?
No.